let that one go. Okay, just make sure. All right, so welcome. My name's Luke George, and we're going to be spending some time together about storytelling, etc. Now, according to the Harvard Business Review, we make about 33 to 35,000 decisions a day. Quite amazing. And I remember a decision I actually made around about the age of 10 years old. So I was quite excited. Dad's taking me down to the beach, and I've got a new surfboard, not any surfboard, but a new fiberglass surfboard. Now, this is a few years ago. This is only just when fiberglass surfboards were coming into vogue. Anyway, Dad said, right, Luke, there you go, mate, there's a surf, get out and get into it. 10 years old, surfboard. I said, yeah, no problem, I can do this. So out I got into the waves, started paddling. I came over the top and fell over and got to keep going. Anyway, I just kept pumping and paddling my little arms to get into these waves. And then a big one came down and just pushed me down and held me down there. And I was like, am I going to make it? I came back up. Next one, the wave came down and pushed me down again. I was like, am I going to make it? I just turned around, paddled, and just came straight in. I didn't even get one wave. I was so angry. Came up to Dad, and I started to dig a shallow grave for my board. Just paddled and I put the board in there, and I started putting the sand over the top. Dad's standing there looking at me. I looked up at Dad. Dad looked down at me. And he said, Luke, you've got two options, two choices. You're either going to leave the board there and let someone else do the surfing, or you're going to pick it up and have another crack. Well, that's not really what I wanted to hear. I wanted a better answer than that. And followed Dad to surf another day. I remember that decision because I could have stopped right there and then and never surfed again. And now, so many years later, I still surf. And I always remember that time. But I made a decision. And the best thing that you've all done today is to make a decision. Make a decision to be better storytellers, better presenters, and more engaging when you stand up in front of a group. So there's two types of presenters. There's the time thief, and then there's the time investor. Let me describe the time thief, and let me see if you've been in the room with that person. A time thief is someone who likes to talk about themselves, has a message to deliver, and just delivers it. And unfortunately, the people in the audience just have to sit and wander through. You most probably notice that you might watch your watch, you might start looking at your phone, you might start looking out the window, because what they are not doing is engage in the audience. Whereas a time investor actually comes in thinking about the audience and wanting to make sure that their time is actually going to be valuable and is invested in them. So have you ever sat in that meeting when it's been a time thief up in front? Raise of hands. Yep. Have you ever been in a meeting where it's actually a time investor, where you walk away thinking, I'm glad I went to that. I'm more knowledgeable. Yeah? Okay, another decision. Which one do you want to be? A time investor or a time thief? And here's the two other things they do. It's either going to be a presenter that engages or a speaker who enrages. Because I've been in those meetings. I've sat through people up in the front giving a presentation for an hour, and all I'm thinking about is, why am I here? Let me get out of here. Is that right? Okay. So just before we get on to that little one, oh, look at my little tech person. She's so marvellous. I've got something to talk. I want you to look at those ducks. And I want you to think about where you were at the morning, which duck were you yesterday morning, and which duck are you at the end of yesterday. So were you a duck number 1 when you came in first up? Yes, I'm vibrant. And then were you duck number 9 by the time you started crawling out? Once you've chosen your 2 duck numbers, I'd like you to turn to the friend next door, and if you don't already know them, say who your name is, even though it's all explicitly placed on your badge, and tell them why you felt when you entered as duck number 1 or 2, or you might have even entered as duck number 9 because you came off the freeway. And why it was that when you left, you were that particular duck. So which duck were you yesterday morning and yesterday afternoon? How did you enter and how did you leave? Okay, quick chat, 1 minute, let's go, boom. There, introduce yourself. Hi, which duck are you?